Britain has piled up record levels of debt in the pandemic. Premier Johnson is also planning expensive reforms. Even his own party fears that he cannot handle money. Some Conservatives in Great Britain are currently worried that Prime Minister Boris Johnson will handle state finances the same way he does his private money, according to the motto, always get it out, it's never enough anyway. There have just been investigations into the expensive renovation of his apartment, possibly financed by party donation. Have you seen my wallpaper t-shirt, by the way? It's, just saying. And there's never enough in the state budget either, especially now. The COVID crisis has cost billions, more than £300 billion, including aid and rescue funds. UK debt borrowing is at record levels. Recent May figures show that Conservative Party politician Ken Clarke was Treasury Secretary under Margaret Thatcher and fears inflation will be a major risk for years to come. This rose to 2.1% in May. Experts fear it could be 4% this year. Clarke therefore recommends sustained growth, solid finances, under no circumstances push the debt further up. But that is exactly what should not be so easy. Johnson has announced many reforms and many projects cost money. There is, for example, state-funded care. Care for people in need at home and in nursing homes urgently needs to be reformed. According to media reports, the Prime Minister recently cancelled a meeting with the Finance Minister and the Health Minister. Apparently there are disputes over how to finance the reform. Experts say £10 billion are needed and Johnson categorically rejects tax increases. Now the reform plans are to be presented in the autumn. The social policy spokeswoman for the Labour Party, Liz Kendall, criticised the government's inaction during a recent debate in the House of Commons and described the maladministration. In the past few months, 2 million applications had been rejected. Tens of thousands had to sell their own houses to cover the costs of to be able to raise care. And after the horror of the pandemic, 9 out of 10 municipalities would have to announce that they would cut their budgets for care. Many examples show just how much the costs of the pandemic are. To encourage students who had months of restricted tuition, education expert Kevin Collins, acting as the advisor, proposed a £15 billion aid package to the government. The government approved £1.4 billion and Collins resigned, especially investing in education, said Clarke, the former Treasury Secretary. He gets upset about unnecessary projects like a new luxury yacht that is supposed to go around the world as a platform for diplomatic and trade talks, the Brexit Titanic, so to speak. This is stupid populism. The 200 million for a new yacht Britannia, that is not the problem, but it shows the symptoms. There are people in the government seat in number 10 who think there is enough money there, says Clarke. And if you wave the Union Jack and send yachts and aircraft carriers around the world, that would show what a great power we are. We have no money for that. And for Clarke, it's also clear, so far the Tories have always had one solid financial policy. But at that point, a question mark has to be set. Of course, the pandemic costs. Germany, in the first time for many years, has gone to take up debt in the last budgets and will also do that in the next budget to pay the cost of the pandemic. But the question is not the cost of the pandemic. The question is, in a situation like this, can you spend tons of money on your prestige projects instead of what is necessary? You heard that, at least for the education part, just 10% of what's needed is the end in the budget, because they want to have their, what do you call this in English? I don't want to call it unicorns again, because that's they get what they want because they pay for it, and so it can't be unicorns because unicorns don't exist, except they get the unicorns like the ones on my other t-shirt. No, they are just putting some nonsense in the front to ease the people, and all the important stuff is not done. And that is the problem. Not taking debt for the pandemic, but in a situation like that, you have to handle the situation the way it is and not spending money for wishful thinking. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.